Teacher Max here. Welcome to yet another exciting English video where I hope to help you improve your English listening abilities and the ability to comprehend the story, a fast-paced English story with some new vocabulary. Listening skills are very important to develop because they will help us not only to speak English, but also when we have to read and also study for tests. Today, we will be learning or listening to yet another English folktale. If you remember from the previous videos, we are discussing a variety of fables, which are short stories that have been passed down from generation to generation. You should know this by now after the 10th story if you have listened to all my videos. So, we are discussing the story today, The Wolf Without a Tail. It is imperative, it is very important you listen carefully and clearly. Try not to watch the video more than once so you can see if your listening skills are up to standard. The Wolf Without the Tail. Many moons ago, in the vast open plains of a rocky desert, there were rocks outcrops, which means the rocks are stacked together that stretched as far as the horizon. However, during certain times of the year, the rocky outcrop had an abundance of water because of the rains of the different seasons. Now, in this region, there lived a variety of animals, from big animals to small animals, fast animals to slow animals. The most popular, however, was the pack of wolves, or were the pack of wolves. The wolves would roam all over. They didn't just have one particular destination. As you know, wolves like to wander. They have a large terrain, a large territory which they live in. Many of the animals knew that the wolves were ferocious hunters. They were clever hunters, but they prided themselves with their lush, gorgeous tails. They had bushy tails, unlike any of the other animals. So their tails were large, they were fluffy, there was a lot of hair, and when they would run and chase their prey, you would see that the tails would almost, the hair or the fur of the tails almost blow in the wind. They were very proud of this piece of their body. One day, one of the main wolves, so an alpha wolf from one of the nearby packs, decided to go hunting. He saw a herd of deer and immediately his instincts kicked in. So he darted, he ran after them, excited, ready for the hunt, ready for the adventure. But he soon came to an impasse. So he came to a gorge where he had to jump from one rock to another rock. And as he landed on the other side, he gave a loud yelp, like a "Arr!" And he turned around and realized as he jumped over the gorge, his tail, his luxurious tail, which he was so proud of, was caught in a trap. And it hurt, and he yelped, and he cried, and as the wolf wiggled left and right, his tail broke off, and he was distraught. He was devastated because that trap shut on his tail, so naturally he had cut off the tail. The wolf looked back and he realized, oh no, my tail is so short. What will everybody think of me? This was, his pride, his joy. They were brilliant hunters. They were pack leaders. Animals were scared of them, but they wanted to look the part. They wanted to look important. So he concocted a plan. The wolf didn't want to alone look ridiculous. He didn't want to alone look ugly. So he decided that he would call the pack of wolves together, which he lived with, and he would convince them that a tail was not needed. He didn't want to be the only one without a tail. He called them together and they listened to him attentively as he told them what are the negative aspects of having a tail. It's too large, and when we have to run, it's in our way. And when we have to lie down, it's also in our way. And sometimes if there are hunters and we're trying to run away, it's easier to catch us if the tail is longer. If we don't have a tail, we're faster, we weigh lighter. He gave them all these reasons why it was bad to have a tail. But the wolves in the pack looked at each other and they were just baffled. They were shocked. So they started to howl with laughter. They found the concept of getting rid of their tails, of cutting off their tails, hilarious. Why would we want to get rid of our tails? They asked. Because we love our tails. They're part of who we are. One of the wolves stood up, a pitch black wolf, as dark as night. And he peered over at the wolf which had lost his tail, and without hesitation, he told the wolf, "Do not think we are fools. Just because you are in a bad situation, and it does not mean you can try to convince us that we should also drop ourselves into the same situation. I will no longer be a part of this. It is crazy." And he turned around and he strolled away. And one by one, all the wolves got up and they followed him. The wolf that lost his tail was very sad, despondent in fact, because he realized a very important moral. This day, when he tried to convince his fellow wolves what they should do with their tails just because he had been unfortunate and because he had lost his tail. The moral is that it is not always easy to fool someone. Do not look for someone behind a door. Do not look for trouble where there is no trouble. I sincerely hope you enjoyed the short story, the short fable, because I think it is relevant in today's society. If we are in a bad situation, do not drag your friends in, rather try to see the positive. Now next, I will be presenting you with some questions. Please kindly read them aloud with me, and then we can continue to answer them together. There we go. Please read the questions aloud with me. Then you can press pause and together we'll go over the answers. Number 1. We should know this by now. What is a fable? That's question number 1. Question number 2. How did the wolf find himself without a tail? Number 3. Why did the wolf try to convince his fellow wolves a tail is a burden and they should all remove their tails? Number 4. What was the reaction of the pack of wolves when they were told to cut off their tails? And finally, what is the moral of our story? Please press pause, take a few minutes to complete the answers out loud or write them down, and we will go over it together. 3, 2, 1. Press pause, please. Welcome back if you just pressed play. Let's look at the answers to our questions. Number 1. What is a fable, Teacher Max? I will be so sad if you don't know this by now. A fable is a folk tale that is passed on from family to family generation to generation. The story teaches us lessons and morals. Number 2, how did the wolf find himself without a tail? The wolf was on a hunt chasing a deer when he jumped into a trap that cut off his tail. Number 3, why did the wolf try to convince his fellow wolves a tail is a burden and they should all remove their tails? The wolf did not want to be the only disfigured animal without his tail, which was his pride and joy. He wanted the other wolves to look ugly too. Number 4, what was the reaction of the pack of wolves when they were told to cut off their tails? Naturally, the other wolves laughed at this ridiculous idea of cutting off their tails. Who wouldn't, right? Last one, moral of the story. What is the moral of our story today? The moral of the story is that you should not always believe you can fool people into thinking like you do. Because everybody thinks differently, right? I hope you enjoyed the story and that you learned some new vocabulary today and that you got 5 out of 5. Please stay tuned. There are many more interesting, exciting English videos to help you learn to improve your English writing, speaking, reading, and listening abilities. See you soon. Bye.